Welcome, children. Today we shall begin Beehive lesson number 10, Kathmandu. As we all know, that Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal. Here, the writer is Vikram Seth. He says, do you like traveling? Because he enjoys it very much. In his book, Heaven Lake, he describes a long journey from China to India via Tibet and Nepal. So here he begins, the writer Vikram Seth begins with the first paragraph here. He says, I get a cheap room in the center of the town and sleep for hours. The next morning, with Mr. Shah's son and nephew, I visit the two temples in Kathmandu that are the most sacred to Hindu and Buddhist. Here we must also understand where actually Kathmandu is. As we all know that it is situated, Nepal is situated, it joins the border, it shares the border with India. Nepal is a very small country. Kathmandu is situated right here in the map, you can see, and to the very left is Bhutan, and above that it shares the border with China. So here the writer Vikram Seth begins with saying that he wanted to visit the most sacred Hindu and Buddhist temple, that is uh, at Pashupatinath, outside which a sign proclaims entrance for the Hindus only. It's a very strict rule there at the Pashupatinath, which is totally a Hindu temple, and there the board itself says that only Hindus can enter. There is an atmosphere of febrile confusion. It means hurried activities, complete chaos, people running here and there, pushing each other, what especially where we see in the temples and sacred places. Priests, hawkers, devotees, tourists, cows, monkeys, pigeons, and dogs roam through the ground. Now, this is what when he visited there he saw first. We offer a few flowers. There are so many worships that some people trying to get the priest's attention are elbowed aside by other pushing their way to the front. This is what happens that when you visit a very busy and a sacred place, you don't get a chance there to worship, to see the God, to see the statue of God or whatever is placed there. It's very, very difficult because people keep on pushing, they want to get there first. So this was one of the scene that the writer saw, that the Pashupatinath, a very famous temple throughout the world, and he says that people were pushing each other and trying to get in front. A princess of the Nepalese royal house appears, everyone bows and makes way. By the main gate, a party of saffron clad Westerners struggle for permission to enter. The policeman is not convinced. The policeman is not convinced that they are the Hindus. Only Hindus are allowed to enter the temple. So nobody was except Hindus are allowed there. A fight breaks out between two monkeys. Now he is a travel writer actually. So he keeps on traveling at different places and he keeps on noting down the things. So this is while we read the chapter, an atmosphere is created as if we are there and we are watching all these things. So these are the small details also, whatever he saw he has mentioned. So when all this hustle bustle was going on, at that time, two monkeys were fighting. The policeman was also not convinced because few other people wanted to go into the temple, but they were not allowed. A fight breaks between two monkeys. One chases the other, who jumps onto the shivling, then runs screaming around the temple and down the river, the holy Bhagmati. Now, this is what the writer is watching right now. He's seeing all these things. that flows below, and there is a river also just close to that temple, and there the river flows, the Bhagmati river flows. A, a corpse is being cremated on its bank, means especially in Hindu religion, when the people die, they are cremated, and on that bank of the river somebody had died, and the process was taking place. They were cremating someone. Washerwomen at their work, and children bathed. See, everything was going on at the same place. There, somebody had died. They were cremating him. Women were washing clothes. Children were having fun, taking a bath in the river. For a balcony of baskets of flowers and leaves, old offerings now wilted, is dropped into the river, and lots of things which are offered to God, later on they are uh, thrown into the river, and a small shrine half protrude from the stone platform on the river bank. When it when it emerges fully, the goddess inside will escape, and the evil period of the Kali Yuga will end on earth. These are few of the beliefs that are there, that a small shrine half which is there, a stone platform on the river bank is there. When it emerges fully, the goddess inside will escape, means when it will be submerged in the water, at that time the god will leave that place, and the evil period of Kali Yuga will end on the earth. That is what is the belief there. So this is what he says, and what he witnesses, he is writing about. We come to the paragraph number 3. At the Buddhnath Stupa, the Buddhnath Stupa, the Buddhist shrine of Kathmandu, there is in contrast a sense of stillness. So whatever he showed the Pasupatinath, lots of animal, hushal bajal, people here moving there, lots of crowd pushing, all the things. The next place, which is also a very important place that he visited, was at the Buddhanath Stupa, and it's actually a holy place for the Buddhist. And when he went there, he says that it was totally opposite from what he had seen at the Pasupatinath temple, because there it was very noisy, lots of people pushing, and lots of things going around at the same time. But here at the stupa where he visited, it was completely contrast, means everything was very, very different. Why? Because here he says that it was complete silence. There was pin drop silence, because especially at the Buddhist uh, stupas, the first thing important there is silence. You cannot speak, you cannot make noise there, it has to be very, very silent. So that was totally contrast, a sense of stillness, he says. Its immense white dome is ringed by the road, and where he had visited, he says that the white domes, especially the stupas, wherever they are, in lots of parts of India there are Buddhist stupas. They have a very different temple that they call, and the entire construction is also very, very different, because they have a huge, huge, very huge dome on it, and due to that, lots of silence, and it becomes very, very peaceful inside, and very still and silent it becomes. So its immense white dome is ringed by a road. Small shops stand on the outer edge. Now there were few shops also that were there on the outer side of the place where he visited. Many of these owned by Tibetan immigrants. Here he says that those shops were run by Tibetans. Those who have just those are known as immigrants, means they have come from Tibet and now they have become the part of our country, and they stay in our country. They do these types of small businesses, and actually they are refugees, But so lots of in Nepal there are immigrants. They too look just like the Nepalese people, so they mingle very well in it. And here he says that the Tibetan immigrants, they owned many shops. So felt bags, Tibetan immigrants, felt bags, Tibetan prints, and silver jewelry can be bought here. So here he says that if you want to buy these things, there are lots of things that these people sell, and those things were like bags, and then Tibetan print at the stupa, whatever it is, the temple about, and you can buy lots of bags, Tibetan print, and silver jewelry that also can be bought there, can be bought here. There are no crowds. He says that, but in these stupas, it is not as crowded as it is in the Pashupatinath temple. Means not lots of people, but very few people disciplined. They go inside without making noise, and they come out, no pushing and nothing. So these are the things that they sell. They have small shops there, and there is a heaven of quietness in the busy street around. And he says that those jewelry and those shops, after that, when we just come out, it's there are no crowds, and there is heaven of quietness in the busy streets around. And when the streets around are very busy and noisy, but when you enter the stupa, it is very, very still, very, very silent there. Paragraph number 4. Kathmandu is vivid, mercenary, religious, with small shrines to flower adorned deities along the narrowest and the busiest street. So now he says that Kathmandu, the place, is very, very different from the other cities, because you can see lots of varieties of things. Very narrow streets are there, and they are very, very busy with lots of people, with fruit sellers, flute sellers, hawkers of postcard, shop selling Western cosmetics, everything you will find out there. So there are people who are selling flutes, fruit, hawkers of postcards, shops selling Western cosmetics. Even there are people those who sell postcards, means there are small pictures that they sell about those places so that you can remember that where you had visited. And there are people who sell Western cosmetics things, film rolls which are used in the camera, and chocolates or copper utensils, and Nepalese antiques. So things made out of copper, and lots of Nepalese antique things also are sold there for the tourist, and they come there and buy as a souvenir, and they take the things along with them. Film songs bear out from the radios, car horns sound, bicycle bells ring, stray cows low questioningly at motorcycle, vendors shout out their wares. Means all this, just like even lots of places in India too, we see all these things, lots of cows, then people blowing their horns unnecessarily, mics, and at their full volume, motorcycles, vendors selling things, shouting. These are the things that he saw there. Indulge myself mindlessly by a bar of marzipan, that is known as a sweet made from the grated almond. So this is one of the things that is used to for eating, that also. And a corn on the cob roasted in the charcoal brazier. Now that also we all know what it is. Even here we see lots of people selling the corn on the pavement, rubbed with salt and chili powder and lemon. That also we all know. That few things that he bought, those were the chocolates made up out of almond, but the other thing was the corn that even we enjoy here eating. The same thing was being sold. So he is telling a couple of love stories, comics, and even Reader Digest. Now he says that on the road he saw this few things that could be eaten, and the other things that he saw were the storybooks, then comics that all children love to read, and even the Reader's Digest. Reader Digest is a very good book. If you get a chance, you should read it. So he was a bit surprised to see the even Reader Digest being sold there. All this I wash down with Coca-Cola and a near-sitting orange drink, and feel much the better for it. So here is telling that these were the things that I saw which were being sold, and I drank that orange drink and feel much the better for it. That's what he saw, and he enjoyed doing that. Here we'll just give a pause, and we'll continue with the next lecture, and we'll continue with the and we'll complete the chapter in our next session. Thank you very much.